MDL Crochet. Today's stitch is the waffle stitch. It is a more complicated stitch, and I always say bend your work to you. Well, you're going to bend your work, but you're also going to be bending. One of those more movement intensive stitches. But remember, if these tutorials help you, if you can give me a like and subscribe, it'd be greatly appreciated. As well, give me a comment. Leave a comment. But let's get to the stitch. As I said, this stitch is the waffle stitch. It is worked in an even number of chains. The chain I have worked on is 20. It is a 2-row repeat, and it's fairly simple. However, like I always say, make your work move for you. Well, that's sort of what's going to happen, but you're also going to be working too. So let's go ahead and go with Tunisian. We always go in the back humps. So you can see the first chain here, and it's the second chain from your hook. It's right there, and you turn over, and you'll see all these back humps, and you're just going to go right into them. Go into those bumps, and pull up a loop. And that's what you're going to do all the way down. Pull up these loops to whatever even number in the chain that you pulled up. Sometimes they're a little stubborn, and this is the part a lot of Tunisian crocheters dislike, just because it's the most time-consuming part of Tunisian crochet. Because you've got to get those back bumps, and if you're working with a darker color, it's hard to see those back bumps, and God forbid your tension gets off when you're making the chain, and you know you're having to fight to get through there, or sometimes the bumps decide I want to be in the front, so you kind of got to bend it a little bit to work it back to the back. But let's go ahead and pull up our 20. Alright, we're coming up on the last one, and what we're going to do now is just our normal return pass. So, you chain 1, and then pull through 2. Chain, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, all the way down to the end till you only have 1 loop left on your hook. Alright, now I'm going to stop for a moment. That is our foundation row, but I'm going to stop for a moment. And earlier when I was pre-practicing, trying to refresh myself on this stitch, because of some angles you're going into, because you're going to be twisting it. So I went to my husband's desk and took one of his tension rings, because I was dropping my tension when I was doing this, and I remembered why I disliked this stitch. Now, I may not dislike it. We will find out. Okay, so I have the tension ring on. Now I just need to set it and forget it. I don't know if that dates me or not. But you're going to work 1 simple stitch in the very first stitch, because you know we don't work the side stitches because that's technically we just don't work them. Okay, so you do a simple stitch. Now this is where your tension matters, and like I said, I'm using the tension ring because when my grandmother tried teaching me how to do tension, when I was 14 years old, I couldn't get the whole magical wrap around your finger thing. I couldn't get it. I don't understand it. My husband does, and he's tried showing me a few times, and I just don't get it. So what I do is I normally pinch the tension with, I'll put it right there in the crease, and I pinch it, and I can always feel, and then of course it runs through there as well, and I can feel my tension. Well, this stitch I was dropping it, and you'll see why. Now you see the second stitch. We're doing a whole new stitch here. It's called the Tunisian slanted stitch, and it's a pain. So what you do is you can, it's easy to turn your work this way. Take your needle, because we need to come in from the side that my thumb's at. That's the side we need to come in at. You know, we can't just pull it and twist it, because then it's twisted. So you're going to come down here, bring your needle down, bend your work a little bit, and force yourself in. And then pull up a loop. Tunisian simple stitch, and then a slanted stitch. Bend it a little bit. There you are. Simple stitch, and then bend it. Get it in there. Simple stitch, and then the slanted stitch. Yeah, tension string is not even working for me on this either. Maybe I'm not wearing it right. I don't know. I'm not a fan of them. We just did a slanted stitch there. Then we do a simple stitch. And then hold your work, fold it, bend it, poke that thing out. So you have it. Go ahead and poke it through. Pull up that loop. So you have that slanted stitch loop. And then a simple stitch. And then again, the slanted and the simple. Fold it, like do anything you need to do to get that stitch, so we can come at it from this angle. The best way I found is always just take it, bend it, and just bend it, and then kind of, it's going to be a little tight, kind of like the back bumps when you're doing your foundation row. You got to force your way in a little bit, and then it goes in, and then pull up a loop, and then a simple, and then we're going to do that one more time. See, it's this stitch is going to give you aggravation. I can tell because it's giving me. All right, now we're going to go ahead and do our normal end row closing. So bring your work to the row you just closed off. Open that up a little bit. And then you can see the last two you want to go through. And it's here and here. These are the last two you want to go through. Oh, I didn't realize that's my two favorite colors. Blue and orange. So you want to go through these two. So drop down, fold in, and 9 times out of 10, but if you drop down to the row you just closed and then fold your work onto your needle, it's going to go right where you need it to be. Then pull up a loop, chain 1, pull through 2 all the way down to the end until you only have 1 loop left on your hook. I'll probably try the tension ring on another project or stitch that doesn't require me to be moving all over the place. Now I said this is a 2-row repeat. So the second row, all it is we're just kind of shifting over a little bit. So the first row we started with a simple stitch. Now, so the second row we're going to start with a slanted stitch. So let's go ahead and get that slanted stitch in there. And it's already driving me crazy. Let's get it up a little bit so we can have some help. There you go. And do whatever you need to do. I mean, the end product, we're all taking the same road, right? I mean, not taking the same road, but we're all going to end up at the same destination. So this one doesn't count as one, but it counts in our count. Go figure. But we did this stitch as the slanted stitch. Then we do a Tunisian simple. Now we're going back. I need to move this yarn. Now we're going back into our slanted stitch. And then pull up a loop, simple stitch, slanted, simple, slanted, simple, slanted, simple. Oh, I split that yarn. Oh, there we go. Slanted, splitting yarn again. There we go. Simple, slanted, simple, slanted, simple, slanted, simple. Now we're at the end, so we're just going to drop our work down, even with the row we just closed off. Fold our work onto our tip of our needle and push it through. And you're right where you need to be, so pull up a loop. Then you're going to chain one. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through two all the way down to the end. All right. Now what I'm going to do, since we're going back to row one of the repeat, I'm going to put a little clip, if I can get it, just so I know where I'm at, because sometimes you just need to be reminded what you're doing. Okay, so now we're back at row one. Row one is a simple stitch. You start out with that, and then you go into, I'm going to clip that all the way so it doesn't lose on me. And then you fold your work, do whatever MacGyvering you need to do to get to that stitch to come through it this way. I mean, you can just isolate it good enough, then, you know, go with it. And you can see I'm struggling, you know, so it's going to be a difficult stitch. As soon as you get that slanted done, then you're going to do a simple stitch, and then you're going to do a slanted, simple, okay, yarn was splitting on me, so slanted. Well, let's pull that up a little bit. There we go. Come on, slanted. I'm trying to go through. There we go. Maybe. Am I going through? Oh, I'm trying to go through that back chain too. That's what I'm trying to do. See, this is an aggravating stitch. Simple. Slanted. Simple. There we go. Let's use some of that to pull it up. Slanted. Do whatever you need to do to pull that stitch. I mean, because we're all going to end up at the same place, just a different road. So that was a simple. So I'm just going to use the part of my hook to pull that up and get it slanted in there. Another simple. Another slanted. Another simple. Another slanted. Simple. And a slanted. We're at the end, so bring your work down, fold over, you're right there, and let's do a quick count. You know, I'm going to reiterate in every video. Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Now I'm going to show you a little trick about counting. What you can do is, every time you pull through on your return pass, you can count. So here's my first chain. The chain is going to be considered a pull through for this one. So that's 1. There goes. Oh, I'm getting caught. 2, 3, 4, 5, goes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, it goes 12, 13, it goes 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. That's just a lot easier way to count. Okay, now we're going to switch to the other row, which is row 2 of the repeat. And this is where we start with the slant stitch. So take your work, isolate it, isolate that slanted, and pull up a stitch. Okay, now Tunisian simple. Do the same thing, another slanted, and then a simple. I'm going to fix that real quick. There we go. And then another slanted. Simple. Slanted. Simple. Slanted. Simple. Slanted. Simple. Slanted. Simple. Slanted. Simple. slanted, and a simple. Bring your work down with the row you just closed off, fold over, and you're right into where you need to be. Pull up a loop. Chain one, which is now one, and pull through two. There goes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And now this next row would be the row 1 of the repeating pattern. And remember, it is a 2-row repeating. So I'll be back in just a second, and I'll do a decent amount of this and show y'all. Alright, be right back. Alright, so I just finished up my last row, which is the row 2. Now, there's 2 ways you can close this off. You can do a Tunisian simple stitch slip stitch, where you just do a simple stitch and then go all the way through. Or you can do it in the pattern closure. And I like to keep things in their pattern if I can. So we're going to go, since I just finished row 2, we're going to do row 1 on the repeat. So just Tunisian simple stitch, slip stitch, and then this is the vertical stitch. So what I found out to do a little easier, I remembered, is just put your needle underneath, wiggle it a little bit, get some looseness. All it's doing is tightening up the next stitch. That's fine because you'll unloosen that next stitch when you put your needle in. Pinch it, pull your needle out, and then go the twisted way, or the slanted way, I'm sorry. And then pull your work up and do a slip stitch. Now we're doing a simple stitch. There we go, we just loosened it up, so it doesn't matter. We're all in the same boat. It doesn't matter how you paddle to get to shore. Loosen it up. And this is a slanted. And then this is simple. You can see how it tightened it up a little bit. That's not a big deal. Here's just slanted. And then slip it. And this is a simple. Ooh. And then this is a slanted. So you just loosen it up, pinch it some. I say that and I can't do it now. There we go. Just pinch it some and pull through. And slip it. Simple stitch. Alright, I'm going to finish these up. Alright, we're in the last one. We're just going to do our normal end closure stitch. And I like to chain a little bit more. Snip my yarn, throw it away, yarn over, pull through, tighten it up, snip that off. That, my friends, is Tunisian waffle stitch. You can kind of see the pattern. Maybe I chose a different color yarn, but I did it in several different colors and they were a little hard to see. It is a thicker fabric. Doesn't have much give. But that is the waffle stitch. You can see the pattern though, how it has the waffle, kind of like the waffle iron. And it's not my go-to stitch. I think this is like on the bottom of my stitch list that I ever do. Just because of a lot of that twisting and whatever. But anyway, if you find these tutorials helpful, leave me a comment like, subscribe as well, and maybe we can chit chat. But until next time, friends, keep stitching.